Fishin Frank. We're on our way right now. It's me, Mike, and Lauren. And Johnny over there.
We're over here at Fishin Frank's Bait and Tackle. Great place to come for chartering, your bait and tackle for your fishing. And Fishin Frank is the man with the legends.
Settled here is because of Bogus Hole. Bogus Hole up here, there is a Spanish ship with cannons and all that. Mel Fisher found it in this. Now there is another one right up here. When they found that Spanish, it's about 15 feet under the mud here. And there's another one here about 15 feet under the mud. That's where the original bottom was.
Oh.
Okay, that's how much mud and silt has filled in since then. It just literally layered up over the ships. But they found it. Now, Jeff, who works for me, who's really into, and he hunts fossils, he does all this stuff. He's big into old Indian encampments and stuff. And he probably had the most correct theory. The reason they would have settled here and been kind of in the midst of everything is Bogus Hole was probably a giant spring. And the reason I say that is this is Oyster Creek up here, and you see there's an entrance and kind of a big bay. When you look really close, there's a tiny little stream with a little round thing right there.
Yeah.
When I first went in there in 1980, it was 50-some feet deep. I actually went back, we were depth sounding it, and with, a sinker and a stick, and I actually went and got a little depth finder and went back there. There were the flashers back then, remember those? And it went down to around 50 feet. It was a freshwater artesian spring that used to feed out of here. Now we figure that's why Bogus Hole, and it has a creek coming out of it, that's why they would have gone up there. They would have been looking for fresh water. So picture, what is it, Crystal River, Crystal Springs? Yeah. That's probably what Bogus Hole was. All of the creeks on the west side of the harbor and the east side of the harbor used to be headed up by artesian springs. That's how the creeks formed, the water's coming out, it just dug itself a creek from wherever it bubbled up. And when they put all the houses in South Gulf Cove, Rotunda, Placida, Port Charlotte and all this, the water went down, the groundwater. We don't have the pressure for that water to bubble up the way it used to. Because our water all comes from the north of Florida through caves and bubbles up when it hits wherever the end of it was.
So Frank, you said already Mel Fisher already checked this area, and that's where we found the...
Yeah, but they could not get the permits to dig because it's a national estuary. Stories are based off of things that actually happened. They just didn't happen here. Now, the American military, U.S. Navy, actually came through here in the early 1800s looking because they had heard all these rumors of pirates. The rumors were going everywhere that this was a pirate encampment and everything. They searched all the barrier islands. They found no cannons. They found no encampments. They found nothing. And that was in basically, I think it was like 1817 around then. One of the other problems they were having was Indian uprisings. Believe it or not, there was a Civil War battle fought here at Elgin. And Fort Myers was Union held. We were never part of the South. From Elgin south is Union territory. We are actually so far south, we're part of the North. Now, going inland, Arcadia, that's a different story, but the west coast of Florida was actually never part of the Confederacy. It was Union held. And there was one Civil War battle fought up here at Elgin that was, I'm sure for them, really, really intense, but it barely made a footnote. It took me forever to actually find out it happened. And the only other thing of military stuff was there was a lot of big Indian uprisings back, and people get killed. We did have pirates here because we found abandoned ships. And the reason, like I say, it's really simple to figure out why. You had freshwater access, but a boat coming across here could not see that ship here. it would have been obscured. So being here was just as good as being anywhere else because nobody ever saw it.
Right.
That's why
You're around the corner.
when it's in Bogus Hole, they couldn't see it. And if you were a boat, you know, like say a military ship, and the most likely thing is privateers were people licensed by say the British to do Spanish vessels. Well, look at the guy who ended up in New York got hung in England because he was a British privateer, but he attacked the British vessel by mistake. He did one of the Dutch Indies boat, and who was that? Kind of from New England, I can't remember his name. I should know all this stuff, but I'm getting old. But the most likely reason this happened is you had a privateer, probably licensed, or maybe even the guy from New Orleans,
Lafitte, yeah.
he might have, you know, this is a great hiding spot where boats just went off the map. Nobody ever heard of them again. And so what you probably happened is either they attacked the wrong ship or Lafitte, who didn't want to get caught, and a ship is the best evidence that you did something bad. If you turned up with a missing boat, you're going to get hung.